Alright, what is going on, guys? My name is Leo Master. Welcome back to another Overwatch League news video. And today, guys, we got a lot of releases that has happened today. We got some leaks, but there was a lot of releases as well today, and a lot of stuff that was previously leaked before. Stuff has now been announced, like Bernar's Hangzhou Spark. We're going to talk about that as well in this video. But basically, a lot of release days, a lot of a Washington Justice kind of day, as we would say. So let's go ahead and jump into some bad news. We got bad news and we got some good news. I'm going to give it the bad news real quick, and then we're going to hop into the good news for any Justice fans that is wanting to hear what's been happening recently. So if you guys did not see, Washington Justice unfortunately released 3 players, and they released Janu, Aim God, and Stitch. So, Aim God, this was expected. Stitch, it was expected after they signed Jerry and Decay. I don't expect Stitch to be playing. You know, Jerry has so much potential this year now if he's on the Justice. They also have Decay. Decay is just insanely good now. Stitch had a really rough season this year. He's one of those players that needs to come in occasionally on certain maps, on like Widowmaker, or something that just fits his style on a certain map. He couldn't really play full time. Obviously, we saw that on Vancouver Titans when it came to CM and Sue and Hacksaw. So now Stitch off the Washington Justice. I really don't see him finding the team. Honestly, that was asked a lot when I was live streaming about a lot of players that have now been released. I don't really see Stitch going back to a Overwatch League team unless he's going to be used as a backup on some other team. You know, that's all I can really say. Stitch, he has potential to be good, but he really only worked on like Runaway and Vancouver Titans. Unfortunately, that all went away because he was a fantastic player back in those days on Runaway and Vancouver Titans, but he did not have really any good performances on the Justice except for playoffs. That was it. All playoffs. Decay came in. It was a game changer for them. Stitch looked good. You have Aim God, who's also really underperformed this season compared to his Boston Uprising seasons. His Boston Uprising seasons were great. He was one of the top flex sports in the league, and you know, he came to the Washington Justice, and you know, obviously it's like a poorly made team. You know, coaching, all that issue happened last season. They got Supreme now. Aim God was really underwhelming this season as well, unless for playoffs. You know, playoffs it was a little bit better, but I still would say he's like one of the bottom when it comes to off sports or flex sports, whatever you want to say. So he kind of sits at the bottom, unfortunately, but I think there is potential for Aim God. Do I see him getting signed to a new team? Absolutely not, if he performs like he did on Justice. But if he performs like he does on Boston on another team, absolutely. I really don't know a team that could be. Maybe Houston Outlaws. You know, they don't have any supports right now. Maybe Aim God would be great on the Houston Outlaws. Have not really wrote down where they could go to, but Aim God and Stitch are kind of like players like I don't know if they will be back in the league. I really don't know if they will be. And then on to the third release, which blew me away and actually changes everything for the Washington Justice, is Janu has been released. I think everyone expected to be a new contract for Janu after how he performed so well in the Justice ever since he joined the team. Even though it was really bad when he joined the team, he made it look a little bit better, but it was really rough for him. Janu looked great on the Justice all season long, and we know he's a top ops tank, you know, from Vancouver Titans and Runaway and all that. Now on the Washington Justice. Now he's released from the Washington Justice. We know he's a great off-tank player, and it just sucks to see that he's gone. And they have a replacement coming in, and I don't think it's the best replacement. I really don't think so. Janu has infinite possibilities on teams he could go to. So many teams Janu could easily go to and dominate on that roster. Philadelphia Fusion could be a good shout. New York Excelsior could be a good shout. There's so many teams Janu could go to and just dominate and be the best off-tank once again, like he was on the Vancouver Titans next to like Troy Hyobin. Washington Justice wasn't the greatest, you know, stats for him, obviously, but Janu, sucks to see him gone. But they have brought in new players as well, and I will say Janu being gone and these new replaces coming in, or just new players I should say, not replacements, are not making this team look like top 5 anymore as we thought. I think Janu, Mag, and Decay were like solid, like, oh, this team's going to be top 5 with these guys and maybe some additional signings, but unfortunately that is not going to be the case. Now to the next release I got for you guys is GG Recon, or GG Recon, don't know how to say the name just yet. Basically it kind of comes from Yiska if I'm correct. But the Washington Justice are leaked to sign Bebe, Closer, and Rhea. 3 players that have been pretty alright, you know, these past couple of years. Bebe's been a solid off-sport. I think he's a huge upgrade actually over Aim God and will definitely perform well in this team. And obviously now he has Closer beside him as his main support, so this is going to be a support duo coming in. Closer, I really am surprised Closer got on the Justice. Even though I predicted Closer to be on the Justice when he got released, I'm still surprised at this because I think Closer, if he performs like he did on Dallas these past 2 years, or should I say 1 year, I should say, he's going to be pretty average, you know, or below average, depending on how things go on. But then again, he's going to go on a full Korean team, and he could fully dominate on this team with a new team around of Decay and all that. And, you know, even Decay and Closer have probably some synergy when it comes behind the scenes, but I don't know about the in-game if I can remember correctly, but they've played together. Maybe Decay put a good word in for Closer, like, you know what, we'll sign Closer Closer. So Closer, Bebe, gonna be the new support duo coming in for the Justice. But I will say it is an upgrade over Arc and Aim God. Not by like a lot. I don't think these new signings are championship worthy of a roster at this point anymore. I don't think it's top 5 anymore. Probably top 10. I don't know. We haven't seen a lot of movements going on around the Overwatch League. But Bebe, Closer, gonna be the new support duo coming in for the Justice. I think Closer's alright. He's been pretty average these past couple of seasons for the Dallas Fuel. Then you have Bebe, who's been a solid off sport or flex sport, everyone say, these past couple seasons on the Spark. So I definitely think it's a good signing. Then you have Rhea coming in. I think Rhea's great, but he's not Janu level. He is not a good replacement for Janu. Maybe he is if they did trials or tryouts. Maybe Rhea has that potential once again. But I was really hoping, instead of Rhea, Kyokyu. Now, if you guys do not know, Kyokyu and Mag used to be a tank duo back on Runaway, and they were a fantastic tank duo, and I wanted to see that more than Rhea. Maybe Rhea's a great off-tank player, but you have Kyokyu and Mag were a fantastic tank duo and contenders and could bring that to a lot with Decay and even Bebe Closer now. I think that would be a massive game changer, but they have Rhea now. We haven't seen him a lot last season because he had issues with his wrist, I'm pretty sure. So it's going to be hard to see. I mean, the last footage I saw of Rhea was fantastic, but I don't think he's Janu level, which makes your team kind of like top 5. If they had Janu still, I could probably say this team's still top 5 with Closer and Bebe. But now they don't have Janu, it kind of changes the game a little bit. I think this team will still be pretty competitive when it comes to high level, but all around, these leaks make this team not look top 5 anymore at the end of the day. Now to some heartbreaking stuff, and I predicted this back, a couple months ago. A lot of people called me crazy, but it happened. Is Nyxl has released Libero, Animo, and SBB. A lot of people were surprised by SBB, but I wasn't. I knew he was going to get released. Obviously, he's kind of like a poster boy, if that's the right word, for Nyxl, maybe even Overwatch League. He's really well known, and a lot of people instantly think of him when they think of Overwatch League. He's a great leader when it comes to in-game and just probably being a person behind the scenes. Sablioli is a great person, but as he's gone on with the skill, I definitely think it has gone down a little bit. He's not been the top tier he was back in like Season 1, and at points, Season 2. He didn't really play all the time in Season 2 compared to Season 1. Then you have Animo, which this was expected as well. His Season 2 and Season 1 were solid. Season 1 was a great season for him. Season 2, a lot of people started finding his flaws when it came to him. Season 3, it was kind of like the same thing with Season 2, but it was just really rough for Nyxl. Maybe it wasn't the best for Animo as well. On top of that, Libero just has not been used. So it's just expected to see Libero be released at this point, unfortunately. He's a great player. All these players that have been released are great. It's really going to be hard to see SBB go to a team, though. I think Libero will find a team instantly, unless he retires, of course. But I think Libero, there's so many teams for him to go to. It goes to endless possibilities. I think the Shock would be a great place for him. Replacing Rascal, they get Libero now. Super's a great fan of Libero, and I think that would be massive for them. Libero and Striker and Ants would be a top tier DPS duo once again from the Shock. I would see Libero on this team. It would make it nasty. Maybe the Toronto Defiant. There's a lot of teams Libero could go to and dominate on and make that team so much better. Same thing goes with Animo. Even though Animo, there was a lot of flaws people started to see in the Season 2 and Season 3 seasons, I think he's still a top main support they can go to any team with. But it all depends on what team, wants that spot. Obviously, Toronto Defiant could be a good shout. Florida Mame could be a good shout. They don't have a main support anymore. So Animo has a lot of options, absolutely. SBB, I really don't see SBB going to a new team. Obviously, people said like Dallas Fuel as a backup, which I say that could work. I think SBB could definitely work as a backup on the Dallas Fuel. Also, they don't really have a hardcore Tracer player. SBB can go to Dallas Fuel and play that Tracer mainly, and maybe some occasional other hit scans. And maybe Widow would come and play some points and play beside Doha, and maybe even Xe when it comes to double hit scan or Sparkle. I think the only team that really makes sense will be the Dallas Fuel, but will they sign him? I really don't think so. But SBB could really do decent on some teams, but I don't think he will start. It's going to be really hard for SBB to find a team next season. But in some good news for NYXL fans, he got Jonak back. He's renewed. He's coming back for 2021 season. I think this was pretty obvious. I think NYXL is going to keep Jonak forever until he's an old man. I don't think Jonak's ever going to leave the NYXL at this point. He's a great player. Why would you get rid of him, kind of a thing? Staying on the NYXL, I think it's great for them. Obviously, NYXL kind of building a whole new roster of Yakpung, Feather, Guangbong, and now Ivy. There's a lot of good things coming here for the NYXL, I think, and maybe they're going to go on a build around Jonak, and maybe Jonak's getting some talks in, like, hey, maybe this guy, and who knows? I'm just kind of having fun here. Jonak's definitely going to get re-signed. He's a great player, and maybe he'll do even better next season. Now to the Hangzhou Spark. We've already talked about this in the past, but I'm going to talk about it a little bit today. Is Hangzhou Spark has signed Bernar. This was expected, obviously, because it was leaked from Hey Little Thoughts. And it's still weird to me. I say it in every video. It's still weird to me they signed Liga and Bernar. Fantastic off tanks. Liga, great off tank in Chinese contenders. Bernar, top off tank when it came to Lone Spitfire this past season on the team. He was one of the best players, if not one of the best off tanks in the league. And now he's on the Hangzhou Spark. Great 2 off tanks for this team. Really weird to see that, though. You need at least one insanely good off tank, maybe one as a backup. I don't know who's going to be backup for this team. I don't know if they're going to like mix around with, Gujue and Liga, and then they bring Takoyaki in and Bernar in, as like a tank duo. I don't know. I'm just having fun here. It's going to be interesting to see. Maybe it'll be a scrim thing, see who does better. I think it's going to be Bernar at the end of the day. I think if anything, maybe Gujue and Bernar, but our communication-wise, it'll be Gujue and Liga. All depends on who does better in scrims, honestly. Now to the next one we got here is a leak from Halo of Thoughts, and I don't really know that much about this player. I'm just going to go over it real quick and go on to the next topic. He says, according to sources, the Chengdu Hunters are expected to sign Illusion. No clue who that player is. He's a main support player. I've looked at his Wikipedia page. He has solid results. They're all, third, second, first. He has 1, 5th through 8th, but he seems like a great player. Will he be used? Probably. I think he'll probably be used. Evoltal is no longer on the main roster. Nyxl is also now on the academy team as well, so he'll most likely be the next main support for the Chengdu Hunters. Now to the last thing we got for you guys, obviously small stuff at the end of the video, of course, is Philadelphia Fusion has re-signed EQO to the roster. This was kind of expected at this point, even though Ivy should have been kind of re-signed, but obviously he's released now. EQO coming back. I wonder if they're going to use him a lot more this season. Obviously last season they did not really use EQO as much, except for the Genji meta, but Ivy was like the main projectile player that was played a lot. EQO coming in now. Will he be the main player? I don't know. All around, Philadelphia Fusion is kind of looking weaker. They're looking weaker this next season. Obviously, there's going to be a lot more signings. If we look at rumors, Gable Shi could be the new off tank. Rascal could be a new flex DPS. Rumors could be true. So all around, EQO been re-signed to the Philadelphia Fusion. Expected, I guess you could say. But who knows whether roster is going to be built next season. Right now, I'm kind of having a lot of question marks. I don't know if they're going to really do as good next season. Anyways, guys, it's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys want to stay more in tune with Overwatch League news and Overwatch League stuff in general, don't forget to subscribe down below. And also, don't forget to join my Discord down below as well. And don't forget to follow my Twitter and my Twitch. And don't forget to hit that bell. And don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe down below. And I'll see you guys on the next one.